What's up, crypto enthusiasts? Welcome back to another video. I'm your host, the Wise Admiral, and today we're going to dig into DeFi lend borrow protocols. These are the crypto banks of the Web3 world. What I want to show you today is where the APY comes from for the people that deposit on the platform, and I want to show you how the fees on the platform work. How does the platform itself make money? I have Aave pulled up here. This is the biggest lend borrow protocol, been around since the very beginning. And you can see there's over $20 billion total value locked in this platform. So the space is huge. There's a lot of people that trust these platforms. They work very well. They're very battle tested, and they're making a lot of money for people that use them. And they're also making a lot of money in fees themselves. So let's get into it. If we go into the app, you can see that there's all these crypto assets, right? So on a regular bank account, you've got US dollars, but in crypto, we have more than just stablecoins, more than just the US dollar version. We've got Ethereum, wrapped Bitcoin, and others as well. And so each one of these is basically a permissionless pool. That's the difference between a bank and a DeFi lend borrow protocol. A bank is not a permissionless decentralized protocol. They are a fiduciary. They're going to manage your money. And the way they make money is they lend it out to borrowers, and the borrowers pay the money. And most of the money goes to the banks, and then a tiny sliver goes to you as a reward for your savings account, for putting money in your savings account. As far as borrowers, that's how crypto works as well. However, everything is backed one-to-one, and it's all permissionless with no middlemen, which is very, very cool. So here is the Ethereum platform, and you can see there's $485 million worth of Ethereum deposited into the pool. So if you put Ethereum in this pool, you just be pooling it with everybody else who's deposited Ethereum onto Aave. And you can see that it's 82% borrowed. So 398 million of this pool is currently being borrowed out. So makes the money the same way, but the difference is everything is backed one-to-one. There's no way you can borrow more than what's in the pool, and that's unlike banks. When there's a run on the bank runs out of money and has to shut down and come up with the money. There never can be a run on the bank in crypto because on a DeFi platform like this, the money's all there. Like, it might be borrowed out, but you can force the borrowers to pay back, or else they get liquidated, and all the money is backed up one-to-one. Now, how is the APY determined? Well, it's a factor of the utilization rate, because all the money, all the cryptos, they're pooled into these contracts, these pools of liquidity, and depending on how much of that is borrowed out, that's what determines the APY. So you could see at 0%, if nobody was borrowing, 0% APY, but as the utilization rate approaches 100%, the APY goes up. You can see at 100% utilization, if everybody had borrowed everything that's in this pool, then they'd all be paying 82.7% APY. And so you can see how this curve has a very steep angle right here. They are clearly targeting 90% APY. They want 90%, no more, no less, to be borrowed from this pool at any given time. And the reason for that, like why wouldn't they want it all borrowed, is because you have to have some liquid at all times so that people can withdraw. If 100% was borrowed, then nobody in the pool would be able to withdraw. But this way, if they have 90% available, they still have 50 million available that can be withdrawn at any time. And if somebody has, like, let's say there's some whale that controlled like a quarter of the pool or something, $100 million. Well, they could take half of that immediately. The utilization rate would shoot up to 100%, and that would force one of two things. It would, or both. It would force people to pay back their loans, for anybody that's borrowing, because who wants to pay 82% APY? Nobody does. They would start paying those back. Or it would incentivize other people to come in and lend more ETH to the pool, and that would allow you to keep withdrawing. So this is something that is protected by oracles as well, because in order to borrow from the pool, you have to have collateral, and all loans in crypto, they have to be collateralized. There's no credit scores in crypto. So the people that have borrowed, they have already put up assets on the protocol as their collateral. And if they don't pay their loans back, then it will force a liquidation. Their position will get liquidated and forcibly paid back into the pool. So it's very safe. These things work extremely well. They're fairly simple concepts. And as you can see, there's billions of dollars in use here, and the APY is determined by the pool. Now, this is fairly low. I'm going to show you our protocol, Wise Lending, that has much higher APY on Ethereum and for stablecoins as well. If we go ahead and look at USDC, and if we look at the average APY over 1 year, that'll load for just a second. You can see same type of idea down here. They currently have an 88% utilization rate, so right around in the area of where they want it at 90%. And as you can see, the average APY is around 7% for the past year. That's going to be much higher on our protocol, and I'll show you why. Now, if we go into the details again, you can see that at the current utilization rate for these assets on Ethereum, they're paying 2.43% to borrow Ethereum. But remember, they're getting, the lenders are getting 1.68%. So the difference is the fees. That's what Aave is making. So if we look at the reserve factor here, you can see 15%. That's 15% fees, meaning of all the borrowers that are paying money, 85% of those fees go to the lenders, and 15% are fees for the protocol. That's revenue for the protocol. And that's how these protocols make money. They have to have borrowers in order to make money. If they had $20 billion, but none of it was being borrowed, they'd be making $0. It's all based off of borrowers, and they're earning a percentage of fees from those borrowers. As you can see on Ethereum, it's 15% on this protocol. If we go to USDC, you can see it's actually 10% here. Reserve factor is 10% on the stable coins. So it's different with every asset. Usually it's 10% for stable coins and 15% for the riskier assets like Ethereum. Now, if you're wondering how much does that actually add up to, we go to an analytics site, DeFi Llama, and we can look at Aave and see that their annual fees are $360 million in the past year. So they're making a lot of money. In the past 30 days, they've made $29 million just in the past 30 days alone. So there's a big opportunity here, especially considering this is a permissionless protocol where you're providing a banking service and this is just working. And who doesn't need savings accounts and a trustworthy, dependable banking services in crypto where all the assets are backed up one-to-one? Like, obviously everybody needs that if you're dealing with cryptocurrency. So that's why the opportunity here for Wise Lending is so big. Now, Wise Lending, we actually have much higher APYs. You can see that we have over 5% APYs total for depositing Ethereum, and for our stablecoins, we have 18 to 20% APY for depositing USDC, USDT, and DAI, which are stablecoins. So what's going on there? So first of all, you can see that our base APY here is higher than Aave, and then we've got extra APY coming here. I'm showing you where that is coming from right now, and that would be our power farms. So this is something Aave doesn't have, which is leveraged yield farming. So ever since about 2022, there has been really good yield sources in crypto. Yield sources coming from staked Ethereum, yield sources come from restaked eigenlayer Ethereum, coming from yield-bearing stablecoins, treasury-backed T-bills, and lots of other good sources of APY. Well, Aave doesn't take advantage of those sources by integrating them into their protocol. The only demand Aave has on their protocol is for people that have deposited already and want to borrow. So the reason you would want to borrow on Aave would be, if you want to make an investment somewhere else off the platform, if you want to pay bills, if you want to long the market, short the market. But this has not produced a high level of demand. Whereas on a protocol like ours, we create the demand by integrating these yield sources. And this creates an instant demand because there's arbitrage there that's easy to use. If you borrow off of Aave, you got to have some plan to be able to, make the APY back, because you're paying fees to be able to borrow, and you got to have some plan to be able to make that back. These leveraged yield farms already have the plan integrated. So you can see here, I could come with my wallet and I could use 100 USDC from my wallet. Then I could borrow with leverage 1,400 USDC. So I can have up to 15x leverage borrowing assets available on the protocol. You see there's 6,900 USDC available to borrow currently in our USDC pool. I can use 100 USDC. I can borrow 1,400. Now I've got 1,500 total, and I could be making a net APY of 54%. And you can see where that's coming from here in the breakdown. So my borrow APY would be 11%. Right now, before I borrow, it's 9%, but you can see as I borrow up what's available in the pool, the APY goes up. The APY that I'm paying goes up, as you can see, to 11%. That's kind of showcasing how the utilization rate of the pool factor into what the APY rate you are paying for borrowing. And now this yield source that we have integrated is currently earning 14.3% APY. So we can do that. I can showcase you Pendle in another video. There's many other yield sources that we can use, but this is coming from the Pendle USDC farm that is from the Athena protocol that's earning 14% APY. So we're paying 11%, we're getting 14% on our entire position, the borrowed funds and our funds in our wallet, and that's how we're getting a net APY of 54% as a borrower. So you can see that it's right here that like everyone would want to do this because it's arbitrage at your fingertips rather than on Aave. There's risk involved because you don't know if whatever you're doing is going to be able to make back the APY that you are paying. So this creates a high demand. It also allows us to raise the borrower APY because we've got higher yield sources integrated into the protocol. And then lastly, there's fees sharing. There's profit sharing that's happening. So if you open up a leverage position here, you're going to get raw APY. But these protocols are actually earning points. They're basically convertible into a token airdrop down the road. And these points and this airdrop, you're not going to get it as the person who's taking out the leveraged yield farm. So you're going to get the raw APY. Those points are actually passed on to our lenders. And this is where the extra bubble of APY here, the purple APY, comes in. So you can see that like for our stable coins, you've got for USDC a base rate of 8.15%, which is already higher than other platforms, plus an extra 9%, which is profit sharing from the other protocol. This points farming that's happening is passed on to the lenders. So very cool. You're almost earning 20% APY for stablecoins on this protocol. That's much better than anything you can get at a Web2 bank. So that's how that works. Hope you guys can see the opportunity here. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a follow, drop a subscription. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.